Welcome back to page 121. Today we're going to talk about some Traveler GM helpers from Judges Guild. There's going to be the Traveler Adventure Log, or the Traveler Logbook, sorry, the Navigator's Chart Book, Navigator Star Charts, and 50 Starbases. I talked about these a little bit in my Judges Guild video, and here's the promised video on how to use these guys. These are actually pretty useful, and I have used them in my Traveler campaign. I don't use them a ton anymore, but they're still pretty useful, and they're good inspiration. So I'm going to take a look at publication history on these guys, and why you may still want them. So today on page 121, Judges Guild GM's Helpers. The first book we're going to look at is the Traveler Logbook. This is from 1979 from Judges Guild. I'm surprised how old these things are, but that explains why I saw them on the shelves when I was buying my early D&D stuff. This guy cost $3. And what this did is it gave you basically a home for your entire Traveler character. The early part here is how to make a Traveler character. Here are the charts for making Traveler characters. And then more. So these are the charts from the books. They're all just brought home here. So you have one place for all your character information. So there's your character down there. One thing I did like about the Judges Guild is the funky little occasional color that would pop in. So there you go. Your parents' occupation. This is a much more in-depth character than you would ordinarily do for Traveler. But hey, that's all right. Reason for adventuring, political administration. It's just a lot of information you may or may not need for your character. This is Starship Operation. Now this actually got a lot of use back in the day from me. Before the Starship Operator's Handbook and things like that, there wasn't a lot on the actual operation of a starship. So these pages helped a bunch. Here we have a trade and speculation table. Standard ship types. Keeping in mind, this is 1979. A lot of this stuff had not been gathered together like this. There you go. And then your character sheet. This is a new, bigger character sheet. If you didn't want to use the little one from the little black book, you could use this guy. And basically the idea was you could keep your entire character here. Here you go. You've got ship design specifications, ship summary. So you could say everything about your ship. My favorite page. Oh, here's your crew roster. I'll go into that one first. So you can list out all your crew for your entire ship. And the page I loved and I used to hand out. Ship's title papers, including who the lien holder was. All the information, all the legal ease for you to hold your ship. And then there are many copies of this. Keep in mind, this was a time before copiers were able, let alone a home printer. Nobody had access to copiers. I didn't in 1979. So you would have needed multiples of the same pages. So there you go. That's the first book, the Traveler Logbook. The next one up is the Navigator's Chart Book. This was $4 and was released in 1980. This is pretty neat. Here you get a key of how to label all your stuff, if that's what you want to do, and a full explanation of how to use it. Here you make a planetary system grid, and you get the index and then a 5-line grid, which I'm not sure what that is. And then you get basically a map key for your adventure. Let me find a map. There we go. That makes a little more sense. So we've got the orange peel planetary look right there to depict the round planet. And then we got There we go. And then we get the key right here. I suspected this key was a holdover from one of their D&D offerings because there's stuff on here about teleporting, trapdoors, invisible trap, sliding chutes, just all kinds of stuff that really isn't Traveler appropriate. I mean, you could do all that stuff in Traveler, just not common. So then, continuing on, you got a lot of these. Now, the idea was, again, you didn't have access to copiers. So the idea was you would use this one book for many adventures. And here we have, this would be a terrain. I would use this as a terrain feature. Maybe a mountainous area or some kind of local city that you could map out. And we got a lot of pages of this. And then there's still more in here. This book has a lot of goodies in it. Here we are. Now this certainly looks D&D. That's just your standard terrain grid. So, Judges Guild was a D&D distributor. In fact, I'm going to show you. Here you go. The treasure vault of Judges Guild. The bulk of their stuff was D&D. Oddly enough, I was never really much of a fan of their D&D stuff. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't really for me. I found their Traveler stuff very enjoyable, but that could also be because there was kind of a scarcity of Traveler stuff. Going on to our next book from 1981, the Navigator Star Charts. This one I found very useful. So you start out with your full sector. You could draw out your own. And here, waiting for your use, is your subsector map. Here's a key for how you would go ahead and write in all your symbology for what you write in there. And all of these maps. You could just do all these subsector maps for your own Traveler universe. I did use this one quite a bit. Not so much anymore, of course. But the nice thing was, too, there were repeats. So here's another sector. If you want to do up another sector, there's the map, and it starts over. Again, you were supposed to just go ahead and keep all your info in this one book. Here it starts again. So, pretty neat book. I did like. And then, of course, there's the Traveler, the treasure vault again. And here is a little sample for Tasman. And then you go ahead and you put all your stuff in. So these were pretty useful. The Navigator Star Charts I liked a lot. The 50 Starbases, I liked this one. This was pretty neat. It would tell you the Starbase type as per Traveler. This was 81 from 1981, and it was $5.98. And then it went into a lot of details about starports. Again, we didn't have a ton of stuff in 81 on this. I was brand new to the game in 81. So I was pretty excited. I had this early on. And here's some more of that wonderful kind of color. The yellow just pops up. So here we have weightless cargo handling, orbital port, orbital station, orbital dock, tugs, rescue missile. It was just kind of neat because it kind of took you more into Starbases than what we'd had at that point. And then we come to your planet location, and here we are. Here's a sample Starbase. This book is loaded with Starbases. So you could take this map and then go on to here and write out all your information that had to do with the Starbase. So this is pretty neat. And then it had a key also. I'll move this over so we can see the key a little bit better. It has a key here for showing, weapon store, gun emplacement, magazine, zoological, any kind of restricted or forbidden area. The L's are the landing zones. These were neat. There's a bunch in here for use with that. Oops. Not sure what that's from. It's from Judges Guild. I got a lot of this stuff secondhand from a buddy who didn't play anymore. So some of the stuff I have is just little drips and drabs from from another person's collection. So a lot of neat looking little Starbases. Again, days before the internet, this was very handy to have. You didn't have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel had been already drawn up for you. So this one had a lot to represent it. I like it. I used this one a bunch. So we come on back, and again, we have the 50 Starbases, the Navigator Star charts, the Gators chart book, and the Traveler Logbook, all from 79 to 81 from Judges Guild. These are available on the Far Future Enterprises site. They're under Apocrypha 2, I believe. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure it's Apocrypha 2. One or two of these are available through DriveThruRPG, but you might have better luck just getting them through the FFE website. So that's it for today for page 121. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I'll see you next time.